Now on CoastTV News.
Sting surge, why lifeguards say they're seeing more jellyfish on the beaches than usual this summer.
Expected showers this weekend. I'll show you exactly what I'm tracking.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Jellyfish up and down the coast. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. There has been a spike in jellyfish stings here on Delmarva.
It's a good reminder that these gelatinous blobs can actually cause a lot of pain. The video on your screen is from earlier today on Lewis Beach, and that's where we find CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken live there. And Emma, lifeguards say this summer specifically, they're seeing more and more of those jellyfish.
Maddie, we're here on Lewis Beach where jellyfish and the pain they cause has been a hot topic among beachgoers today. And we spoke with Lewis Beach Patrol earlier. They say so far this summer, they've already seen double the number of jellyfish stings as compared to all of last summer. And over in Rehoboth Beach, they tell us they're seeing the same surge. A packed Lewis Beach. But humans aren't the only creatures populating the water and the sand. Jellyfish have been showing up in droves. That's according to Lewis Beach Patrol Captain Strom Edwards. He says they track all of their jellyfish stings, and last year they had around 270 for the summer. This year, that number is upwards of 550 stings, and it's only mid-July. So what gives? Why the surge?
I believe with the increase in water temperature and the more rain that we have gotten this summer mixed with the salinity in the water that is favorable for jellyfish, and they thrive in that. If you do have the misfortune of getting zapped, the patrol will offer you a mixture of vinegar and water to help neutralize the burn.
First Lieutenant, can you bring some more jellyfish spray? We're running low.
Lewis Beach Patrol also recommends putting sand on the sting. These 3 girls were on the beach today. One avoided the water to keep away from the jellyfish. The other 2, well,
it kind of stings at the start, but then it kind of gets better.
Edwards says that is true. Stinging should only last around 20 minutes, and welts should be gone within 24 hours. That doesn't make anyone feel better in the moment. John Stiglich saw some tears from his nephew after he got the zap.
He was out there in the shallows with us and started crying immediately and said he got hurt, so it was a jelly sting, but he's okay.
So if you're headed out to the beach, don't forget the sunscreen and maybe a splash of vinegar just in case. And I did ask the Lewis Beach Patrol about urinating on a jellyfish sting, and if there's any truth to that helping, they say no. They do not recommend doing that. Reporting live in Lewis, Emma Aiken, CoastTV News.
According to the American Red Cross, when you get stung by a jellyfish, well, those stings can have effects ranging from merely painful, but they can also be very serious, such as allergic reactions. The Red Cross says after being stung, get out of the water. And this is important here, remove tentacles with a gloved hand immediately, then submerge the area you got stung on in hot water, as hot as it can be, for at least 20 minutes.
In Rehoboth Beach, workplace policy took center stage today. A new workplace in Rehoboth Beach mandates employees have mannerly and courteous behavior and set guidelines for repercussions if anybody uses hostile, abusive, or inappropriate language. The city did not say what inspired the new rule, but it does come after a July 7th meeting had a lot of conflict. The new rule is effective immediately. And this brings us right into our CoastTV poll. We want to know, how do you feel about a civility ordinance for commissioners?
Let's take a look at the results so far. 60% say they strongly support it. 20% say it's too subjective. 15% say not necessary, and 5% say it's a good idea but needs a little bit of work there.
If you haven't left a comment yet, you can do that. You can also vote. You can do both of those things at coasttv.com, or you can use our CoastTV mobile app. Now let's take a live look into the Ocean View area as we check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams. Paul, it's the weekend. Everybody wants to know, what's the weather going to look like?
Well, it's going to have 2 faces, okay? We're going to have one face where it's going to heat and humidity, and the other face is going to deal with the scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Well, I guess there's a third one. Yeah, that's 2. Okay, anyway, take a look. We're at 85 degrees right now in Long Neck, 80 in Lewis and Rehoboth, 84 Milton, 86 in Georgetown. But here's what it feels like. It's feeling pretty normal with the beaches. But as you go farther inland, it feels like 94 in Redden, 93 in Delmar, and 95 right now is what it feels like in Seaford. Now, speaking of Seaford, we're seeing cloud cover that's clearing there and is becoming a little more cloudy towards Pittsfield and the Mission community. Ocean View as well, cloud cover is kind of going on the increase. But generally speaking, we see scattered showers falling to our south that's connected to a quasi-stationary frontal boundary. And we'll see hit and miss spot showers that's prompting some severe thunderstorms well to our south and southwest. I don't see this easing its way towards us easily. It's really going to have to climb some steps in order to get to the Delmarva Peninsula and us specifically, even with that being the case. We're going to watch out for a spot shower to pop up anyway. Here's a look at your State Fair forecast. Listen, we're looking at 83 by 7 o'clock, then 9 o'clock, 73 degrees, 78 degrees, pardon me, and 11 o'clock, 73 degrees, with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Coming up, we'll talk about some rain over the weekend, but until then, back to you, Maddie.
Thank you, Paul. Upgrades are planned for an intersection in Salisbury. The city says it will begin work with the traffic signals at the intersections of East Main Street and Snow Hill Road and East Main and Ward Street. That is set to start July 28th and will continue through August 1st. Crews will work from 7 to 4 daily. The roads will remain open with some flagging operations, and you should expect delays.
First responders with the Delaware Forest Service are jumping into action to fight a raging wildfire hundreds of miles away. State officials say 3 crew members from the Blackbird State Forest are being deployed to assist with the Turner Gulch fire. That's out there in western Colorado. The fire reportedly covering more than 15,000 acres with 9% containment. The Delaware crew will be there for 2 weeks.
President Donald Trump is strongly pushing back on a Wall Street Journal article. The article says Trump wrote a letter to Jeffrey Epstein more than 2 decades ago that reportedly included a lewd drawing of a woman and his signature. NBC's Monica Alba shows us the bombshell report coming just ahead of the president directing Attorney General Pam Bondi to produce any and all pertinent grand jury testimony related to Epstein.
It's all been a big hoax.
After days of downplaying the Epstein files controversy, President Trump overnight directing his attorney general to release all the pertinent grand jury testimony once the court approves. Attorney General Pam Bondi posting on X that she is, quote, ready to move to court tomorrow to unseal the grand jury transcripts regarding the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
This idea that there's going to be a ton revealed about other parties who they were not seeking to indict at that moment, probably isn't the case.
All this in the wake of a new Wall Street Journal story about a letter the president allegedly sent to Epstein on his birthday in 2003. The Journal calls the letter bawdy, describing several lines of text framed by what appears to be a hand-drawn outline of a naked woman with the president's signature under the waist, according to documents reviewed by the Journal and people familiar with the pages. The Journal reporting they are among documents reviewed by justice officials who investigated Epstein years ago, but it's not clear if these are part of the Trump administration's most recent review. NBC News has not independently verified nor seen the documents. President Trump adamantly denies writing the letter, telling the paper, "This is not me, this is a fake thing, it's a fake Wall Street Journal story." House Speaker Mike Johnson said the president is frustrated.
The president and I talked about that ridiculous allegation this morning. He said it's patently absurd. He's never drawn such a picture.
President Trump has tried to appease his base, angry that he won't release all the Epstein documents.
This has been the first fracture in MAGA.
For years, right-wing media and influencers have pushed conspiracy theories about an Epstein client list and that he did not kill himself, that someone potentially murdered him in jail in 2019. When Bondi released a memo this month contradicting those theories, MAGA world erupted, demanding full transparency and every document made public. President Trump says he will sue the Wall Street Journal and its owner, Rupert Murdoch, who also owns Fox News. The president says the report is malicious and defamatory. In Washington, Monica Alba, NBC News.
A critical flash flood risk database, that's moving forward what the database would do.
Plus, it'll be soggy Saturday and Sunday. I'll pinpoint just how much to expect coming up in a moment.
Race cars, Ferris wheels, and a snack to go with it. Don't go anywhere. Your cool things to do are coming up next.
From fairgrounds to the shoreline, your weekend plans are about to get a little bit more exciting.
That's right. The queen of cool, Christina DiRobertis, has your cool things to do.
Not all of the fun, but a lot of the fun is happening up in Kent County this weekend.
NASCAR returns to the Monster Mile this weekend. Races start Friday, and the main event is on Sunday. Plus, Dover Motor Speedway's Fan Zone will be turned into Miles Beach this year. It'll feature family-friendly events and beach-themed attractions. And in Harrington, a Delmarva summer tradition, the Delaware State Fair. Agriculture, rides, food, and more. You can enjoy all the State Fair has to offer until July 27th. Here on the coast, it's Pride Weekend in Rehoboth Beach. Head to the Convention Center Saturday for a Pride Festival, plus performances and workshops all weekend long. Or if you're feeling competitive, the Big Chill Surf Cantina is bringing back their Cantina Olympics Saturday. Grab a teammate and get ready for some fun with games like musical flip cup, water balloon toss, beer pong, and more. Finally, the iconic Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is in Lewis this weekend. You can spot the part car, part giant hot dog at Staybridge Suites until Sunday.
You can head to CoastTV.com and check out the Cool Things to Do article for event details, tickets, and more.
We'll have a mixture of the heat and humidity making a comeback along with the threat of thunderstorms for this weekend. A bit of a mixed bag, but we'll make our way through it so you can make your plans accordingly. Ocean view, 82 degrees, dew point of 70, and we'll drop back to about 78 degrees by 8 o'clock. Also watch out for a little random renegade rain shower briefly around the Ocean View area specifically. Temperatures right now, 80 in Lewis, 84 Long Neck, 85 Dagsboro, 86 in Millsboro, Seaford's 87, 88 degrees currently in Laurel. However, it feels every bit of 96 in Seaford, 91 Delmar. It feels like 100 degrees right now in Ocean Pines. Our muggy meter has been ticking along on the higher register of very humid to miserable, and not looking for it to take a dip until we get to, let's say, Sunday going into Monday. That's when we might finally catch a break from the oppressive humidity that's been in place. You see, we've had cloud cover in place. We've had some spotty showers here and there, but the rain has only served as cannon fodder for additional humid conditions to become even more exasperated. That being the case, because we have this quasi-stationary frontal boundary just to our west, and this mixture of warm and cool air is just keeping things messed up and mixed up to the point where we're looking at slow-moving showers. So when it rains in one place a little bit longer than what it's supposed to. That's why a lot of flash flood warnings are following along with these showers. So we talk about that possibility of rain. We have a more elevated chance of scattered showers on Saturday. It diminishes to widely scattered on Saturday, or Sunday rather, and then Monday it goes all the way down to isolated. So that's our trend. Saturday at about 1 o'clock in the morning, we're watching out for some, at least 3 distinct cells to push through. Really near the Dover area, not our immediate area so much. It's going to move and skip along pretty quickly after that. Here's a look at our NASCAR weekend. Saturday 82, partly sunny with a chance of a thunderstorm. Sunday 91, winds go from southeast to west from Saturday to Sunday if you're going to be enjoying the Monster Mile. All right, Saturday 4 o'clock, sprinkle or 2 for us. Between 2 and 5 o'clock is when I'm expecting the rain to occur. Now, this model run is showing us that it's not going to be as intense, but it still have the same timing, okay? So I want to be mindful of that. And as we go all the way into Monday, it kind of chills out. Now, as far as how it feels, it's going to feel like 103 degrees. Sunday, we're looking at our excessive rainfall to be diminished greatly for us. We have for Sunday maybe a marginal threat, but it's really not so more so about that. It's the amount of rain that's going to hit for us and how quickly it's going to encompass the entire area. Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, here's where we get a final break. Lower humidity, dew points in the 50s and 60s, where they belong, okay? This 60s, this 70 and 80s thing is crazy and what's called an anomaly. But we have drier conditions. We'll have backdoor dry air pushing through as well, and then that's going to help out. So for tonight, 73. 85 for tomorrow with scattered thunderstorms, 93 for Sunday. Here comes that heat again. Finally, here's a look at your 7-day forecast. We are going to be cooler next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, but then by the time we get to Thursday and Friday, here comes the heat again.
All right, Paul, thank you. In an apparent reversal, the Trump administration is moving forward with a critical flash flood risk database. This database would, for the first time, take climate change into account when making precipitation frequency estimates. It would help people understand their risk for flash flooding and assist civil engineers, designers, and builders with construction and infrastructure projects.
Continuing political news, the Republican-led House cleared legislation that claws back about $9 billion from the federal budget. As Karen Kafa reports, that includes funds for foreign aid and public broadcasting.
House Republicans signed off on billions of dollars in funding cuts sought by President Donald Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, handing the president another legislative win.
We clawed back $9 billion in taxpayer funds and wasteful spending, fraud, waste, and abuse.
The DOGE spending cuts were passed under an obscure and rarely used budget law that prevented a Senate filibuster. And they canceled $9 billion in federal funding that was previously approved by Congress. $1.1 billion will be stripped from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which helps fund NPR and PBS. And about $8 billion will be taken from foreign aid programs. The U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID, was one of the first agencies targeted by DOGE. With staffing decimated, nearly 500 metric tons of emergency aid food is set to expire this month and will be destroyed at taxpayer expense.
It takes a lot of people, a lot of workers, a lot of contracts to move this food around the world. And all of those people were laid off. All of the USAID programs were suspended.
Democrats chastising Republicans who have supported the administration's cuts.
It's going to make us less safe. It's going to take funding away from public broadcasting for our kids when they're already having an all-out assault on public education.
House Speaker Mike Johnson hinted at further federal funding cuts, describing rescissions as an ongoing quest. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
The Little League Softball Mid-Atlantic Regional Tournament kicks off this Sunday. The Delmarva Sports Network will be in Bristol, covering Maryland's Del Mar team and Delaware's Camden, Wyoming squad. It's brought to you by Preston Automotive. We'll have live updates and game highlights all week on the Delmarva Sports Network app, website, and social media. So stay tuned at Delmarva Sports Network for all the action.
Coming up, new research shines a light on why many Americans are frustrated with health insurers. What came out of the findings? Stay tuned.
Research shines a light on why many Americans are frustrated with health insurers. Denials for prescription drugs by private insurance companies shot up 25% between 2016 and 2023. The medical data company Komodo Health studied more than 4 billion claims. The findings, compiled for the New York Times, don't say what happened after the denials, but insurance industry officials say some prescriptions were eventually approved. Some experts say artificial intelligence may have contributed to claim denials.
There could be some changes coming soon when it comes to how you pack your suitcase for air travel, so listen up. The TSA looking at making some security adjustments to exactly what you can bring. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said Wednesday she's questioning everything TSA does. Noem mentioned possible changes to the amount of liquid you can bring in your carry-on luggage. Under current guidance from TSA, travelers can carry liquids in containers of 3.4 ounces or less per item, and those items must be placed in a 1/4 resealable plastic bag. You might remember you no longer need to wear your shoes while you're going through airport, take off your shoes rather, while going through airport security.
Here's a live look into Laurel. One more check on the forecast after this. Big upgrades coming to the Salisbury Zoo. The zoo says one notable improvement is a new building and education facility. The zoo's wildlife ambassador animals are expected to be housed there. Updates will also be made to several habitats. The zoo says many were built in the 70s or 80s, so they're a little overdue for improvements. The zoo says the upgrades will help the Salisbury Zoo also become closer to getting that accreditation it desires from the Association of Zoos and Aquariums.
Take a look at our Dover camera right now, 84 degrees, and we are expecting temperature to drop to 79 by 9 o'clock. Our skeeter meter by Active Pest Solutions. We're going to go from extreme Saturday and Sunday down to moderate on Monday because there's going to be a break in the humidity by then. Our umbrella winner is George Glacken of Lewis. Congratulations. Be sure you keep up with your forecast with our line, sponsored by the law office of Brockstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. And finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. Yeah, we're looking for thunderstorms in the afternoon for Saturday, but not the whole day, but definitely in the afternoon between 2 and 5. Sunday, back to being blistering hot again.
Thank you, Paul, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.